Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday, and it's time for Mondays with Monty. I am Montgomery, and today I'm very excited because Riot has finally announced replays. That's right, on the PBE right now is their alpha version of replay functionality for League of Legends. That is freaking awesome. It's the best thing that could possibly happen to the game, and I know you're all thinking, Monty, every week you tell us all to download LOL replays so that we can have replays, so that we can look at the games we play after the fact and think, oh, did I do this right? Did I do this wrong? Why are you so excited about replays? We already have them. Well, I'm excited for a couple reasons. And the first reason is that because this is the official replay system, because it's Riot's system, it will hopefully be less buggy. If you've used LOL replay at all, you're probably familiar with the fact that it tends to stop working a lot. Sometimes it stops working when there's a new patch. Sometimes it stops working because the alignment of the planets is perfect for it. And usually all of your really old replays tend to just stop working entirely at some point, and they're never supported again. So with Riot on the job, even though they're not exactly known as paragons of perfect code, you will probably have at least backwards compatibility. You can probably assume that for the most part your replays will work whenever there's a new patch, and everything will hopefully be just a little bit better. We may even see new features. That's the first and most awesome thing about the new replay system. We may see cool new features that we don't currently have with the third-party stuff. I don't want to bash on LOL replay too much because it is good. It does do what it needs to do, but it is a volunteer effort. Some people in their own free time, of their own accord, without asking for anything in return, do the best they can. But when you have that versus a professional job, usually the professional job is going to be a little bit better. Just a little bit. The second thing, however, that's even more important, that's even more awesome about built-in replays, is that they're built in. Right now, in order to have replays, you have to go off and download some third-party thing. You have to keep it updated. You have to deal with this big hassle. And even though you can, some people manage to do that. I keep LOL replay updated. I keep my replays and everything. For a lot of people, it's why bother? They don't want to do it. It's the same kind of thing you see if you've ever got a bunch of friends and you all want to get them into voice chat together. You're like, all right, guys, let's all get on Skype so we can be organized and win this game together. And then one guy like Jim, he's like, I don't have Skype. And then it becomes this big to-do trying to get Jim to download Skype. He doesn't have Skype. He doesn't want Skype. Why does he need to have Skype? Why can't he use Ventrilo? He loves Ventrilo. But no, Mary and Bob, they don't have Ventrilo. They use Mumble. And it's all of this big mess of people with their preferred voice chat clients all getting in a big mess and just... And it's so simple. Like, it takes 3-5 minutes at most to download one of these things. It's easy. Maybe if you have a 300 baud modem, it'll take you 10 minutes. And then it's 2 minutes to set it up. Why don't people do it? It's because it's a bother. It's a hassle. Tiny things that are an inconvenience will cause huge swathes of people to just not even think about it. They're like, well, I don't want to do that. They're just going to go off and play League of Legends. They're just going to go off and use whatever it is they want to use. Why do they need to do something else? But now that replays will be built in, part of the game itself, there's no excuse. You no longer have these cases where somebody plays a 100 League of Legends game and they find that one game where they really wish they could have gone back and seen what the heck happened. To go through it slowly and just be like, that's what I did wrong. That's where things went to hell in a handbasket. I know what to do. I can be better. But instead, because they didn't have LOL replay, they can't do that, and they're just like, I can't look at it. Oh well. And they just go on and keep playing. They never think to download LOL replay. They never think, maybe I should have had LOL replay installed in the first place. They don't stop and do that. No, they just keep playing because they want to have fun. And finally, it has been 3 years. It's been a long freaking time. Riot will finally have replays. It's in alpha on the PBE now. Hopefully before too long it'll go into beta, and then hopefully not on Google's timescale, because I think, is Gmail finally out of beta? I can't keep track anymore. They keep things in beta for a long time. Hopefully It won't stay that long on there. Hopefully we're not talking Google time or Valve time or Blizzard time. Hopefully we're talking this will be out sometime in the next couple of months time, not any of this crazy super long, another 3 years. I don't think I can wait another 3 years for good replays. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I'm really excited about that. But I'm not going to go with a step-by-step preview through the replay system for today's show because there honestly isn't that much to show you right now that you haven't already seen. Outside of the fact that you just go into your match history, click a game, and then click the Watch Replay button, it's basically the same thing as Spectator Mode. If you've seen Spectator Mode, you've seen replays. Can't really have an hour-long show about that. So instead, I'm going to be talking to you about how to do self-analysis, how to look at a replay and figure out what it is that you did wrong that you can improve upon. That's a much more useful topic because most people have not really sat down and done that before. Very, very few people, even those who have installed Law Replay and have replays, most of them actually use that more for making interesting videos of their pentakills and stuff to put on YouTube, rather than sitting down and wondering about the pentakills they missed. How did I not get that last kill? What could I have done? They don't stop and ask those questions. They're just looking for a good highlight reel. So I'm going to go step by step through how you can sit down and improve your play through analysis, through looking at how you did, looking at what you did wrong and what you did right. That is the focus of today's show. So first and foremost, for all of you analyst novices out there, you're never going to learn how to analyze if you don't just sit down and do it. It's a skill like anything else, like riding a bicycle, like playing the piano. You have to do it at some point if you're going to get good at it. You can spend all day reading bicycle manuals and looking at music theory books and reading music or whatever, but if you don't just sit down and try to ride the bike or try to play the piano, you're not going to do anything. It's just not... Nobody ever just went out and read music and then sat down and played like Beethoven perfectly. It doesn't work that way. Even the professionals, they sit down and they practice before they go and do a concert because that stuff's hard. So anybody who's expecting to whip out a Sherlock Holmes pipe, don a cap, and just be awesome and be like, well, obviously, this is what went wrong. That's not happening. That's not happening. Set your expectations right. This is a learning process. You're going to get better at it as you do more of it. And so just don't delay. Just go in and analyze. You can do stuff like watch Mondays with Monte to help you get better at it as well. But ultimately, this kind of thing, this kind of show is just a force multiplier. If your base analyst level is 0, I'm only going to keep you at 0. You're not going to get any better just watching me. You have to go out and analyze. That's the first point. Second point is that you need to separate your ego from everything. You're going to make mistakes both in the games you're going to watch and in the analysis you're going to do. And if you have this big surly ego sitting between you and everything that's happening in the game, you're not going to learn much. You're going to be very quick to say, that was their fault. That was their fault. I was perfectly fine. It's just very, very true that we're very biased in our own favor. I'm pretty biased for myself. I don't want to admit my faults. I am just as guilty of that as anybody else. But when I sit down to analyze my play, I take that big, gelatinous, ugly black blob of ego, and I just put it to the side. I'm like, you can sit in your corner and give me the clear vision I need to see what the heck went wrong and to realize when I've made mistakes. That's really not an easy thing to do. It's very, very hard. If this was a Kung Fu Wushu movie, there'd be some guy with a really epic beard and mustache saying, "You must know yourself." And then the guy he's training is just like, "I don't understand what that means because I'm the dumb guy in training." We are that dumb guy, and we just have to practice, and eventually we can be the Kung Fu masters of analysis. The third point I would like to make is that analysis is utterly and completely useless if you don't do anything with it. If you analyze something and you come to this great conclusion like, I need to do better at last hitting, or I really need to farm more in the jungle because I'm just hurting my own development too much. Those are great conclusions, excellent conclusions. You have to put them into practice, or else you haven't really learned anything. You've got this great analysis, but if you just put it on the shelf with your ego, you haven't really accomplished anything. It hasn't changed anything or reinforced anything that needed reinforcement. You have to go out into a game and test it, or talk to your peers about it. Talk to some good friend of yours who's as good as you are or better. Just be like, hey, does this make sense? And they'll say, yes, that makes perfect sense. Or maybe they'll say, no, that was a horrible idea. That's completely wrong. The real problem wasn't that you weren't last hitting. It was that you were getting harassed and murdered, and that was bad. And so you have to just take your analysis whenever it's done, however complete or incomplete you think it is, and just put it out there to test. Because that's how you get feedback, and that's how you learn, was my analysis correct? Was it incorrect? Am I not sure? If you never take your analysis and actually do something with it, you haven't accomplished anything outside of a fun mental exercise that might prevent the onset of Alzheimer's. So those are the 3 points that you need to keep in mind when you go out to do analysis. Just do the analysis. Just go out and do it, because you're not going to learn anything unless you do. Get your ego out of the picture. Be prepared for your mistakes, both in-game and in your own analysis, and put your analysis to the test, either in the game or by talking to your friends and peers and betters. That's how you become a great analyst. I did not get to where I am today by being awesome at this at the beginning. When I first started analyzing things, this was years and years ago, back when World of Warcraft didn't even have Naxxramas. This was vanilla World of Warcraft, and I had this brilliant theory that Retribution Paladins were perfectly viable in raids. They could just sit there beating on the boss while cleansing everybody in the raid. And this was utterly and completely wrong. The levels on which this was wrong are just too many to even describe right now. This was approximately the same as walking out into the street, looking at your neighbor and saying, "Isn't the sky a wonderful shade of yellow?" And he looks at the blue sky and says, "Are you okay?" That was how wrong I was, so utterly and completely wrong. And you can try to get into technicalities about the blue spectrum being the only thing we see, but there's plenty of yellow around. That does not save me from how utterly wrong I was. But that's where I started, and despite how utterly wrong I was at the time, I kept analyzing, and eventually, through experience, I got better at it. And eventually, I kept getting better at it because I kept analyzing, and just through practice and through putting it to the test, that's the key thing, putting it to the test, I eventually got to the point now where I'm at least halfway decent at this. I may not be the best analyst in the world, but I believe I have the skills to help you get better at this, to help you improve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up a replay through the old replay system. I'd love to show you some excellent PBE replays, except that the problem with the PBE is that the skill levels involved are like random. So I'm some platinum level player here, and for all I know I'm playing somebody who couldn't even hit bronze if they were shooting at the broadside of the world. So it's not really fair, and the games are generally just really lopsided and not very useful. I tried to get some. Didn't work out. So instead we're going to look at some old school LOL replays, and I'm going to show you how I sit down and do analysis. And there are a lot of different ways you can approach a replay, and I'll show you one where, you know, sometimes there's one moment in a replay where everything just goes horribly wrong and you really want to look at that one moment. But other times, you just have a game that just kind of slowly collapses in on itself, that just slowly degrades until there's just this point of no return where you're like, well, so much for that game. So much for that game. And those are really hard to analyze. And when you're analyzing one of those games, you kind of just have to go through the whole thing slowly, carefully, and just try to find anything that went wrong. And that's what I'm going to do in this first replay. That is the plan. And so let's get right to it. Here is the first replay, and as you can see, this is not exactly standard play. I am actually going to be playing Support Nasus, which you can immediately identify as being weird. That is not a typical pick. Not a typical pick at all. Let's center in on me. I am this great Egyptian god dude here. Everybody loves him and knows him as the big dog. We've got all sorts of crazy lanes here. We've got a mid Maokai who's going to be playing. Top Warwick, kind of a rare thing these days. We have a top Thresh, which is totally bizarre at the moment. All sorts of crazy things, but that's okay. This is a fun game. This is awesome. And we're just going to try to figure out what went wrong. So I remember that nothing really big happened at this point. This is before anything has spawned, any of the great battle has joined. So we're just going to skip ahead through this until we get to the laning phase. I've recalled I've got Misfortune with me. She bought an extra potion. Things are going well. Alright, now we've arrived in lane. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let the game go, and I'm just going to watch for things that look right or wrong. I'm just going to try to dispassionately observe myself and see what's going on. Think things like, was that Wither any good? Did it accomplish anything? Not really, because Gangplank just shoots anyway. Wither does not reduce ability damage, so all it really did was just let Gangplank know that I have Wither. And so, am I making a little bit of space for Misfortune? Maybe a little bit. But I'm just trying to observe how things are going. Should I have taken that damage? Just asking questions about what I'm doing. Is this a good time to ward? Just keep asking questions about your play. Figure out what went well, what didn't, that sort of thing. Wither that Gangplank again. Was that useful? Well, it took him longer to run away, but ultimately he still got his shot off. He still damaged the person I'm trying to protect. That's not really great. I'm hanging out in this bush. Is that useful? Well, I'm a little bit forward. I can be a little bit threatening. And now, let's see, Misfortune taking a lot of damage. That's not very good. I've withered Draven. He's not anywhere within range of her. That's not very helpful. I'm not really being as helpful as I could be here. Just kind of having a train of thought to myself. As the game is going, just letting it run, and thinking about it. And you can slow down the game if you need more time to think. But right now I haven't seen anything too terribly egregious. I haven't seen anything that made me think something's gone horribly, horribly wrong. If I look, I see that Misfortune still has a lot of potions. I still have a potion. We're not in a bad position. Gangplank was hurt a bit. Usually it's better to hurt the carry rather than the support, but whatever. We can try to make things happen either way. Yeah, the creep waves push to the tower. That's fine. Whatever. No biggie. We're still farming. We're still pretty even in that regard. And, well, Misfortune's taken a lot of damage, and so have I. This is actually not all that good. Not all that good at all. Looking at this now, I didn't see anything really obvious yet, but if I just take a moment to pause and think, at this point, are things good? And the answer is no. Very much not good. While Gangplank is at half health, both me and Misfortune are at less than half health. Draven is at complete full health. He has a huge advantage. This is bad. This is not good. This is bad. And you're going to encounter these moments where you've been watching yourself, and you've been watching the game in general, and all of a sudden you realize that some point in the past something had to have gone wrong, and you missed it. And that's fine. You've made that realization, and that's how you start to narrow things down. That's how analysis starts. You don't start with any preemptive knowledge of what's happened. You just realize that something happened that was wrong, and I need to find it. And I figured out right here at the 4th minute that I missed it. Somewhere in there, something went wrong, and I missed it, so I need to go back and look again. So that's what we're going to do. So we're here at the 4th minute. Let's go back to 2 minutes and 30 seconds-ish to see how things are working. And I'm going to try to pay a little bit more attention to what's going wrong. Again, I am taking some harass from Gangplank. He's got that overpowered pickpocket mastery. He's getting 5 gold every time he does that. It's really useful for him. This ward, I don't think this ward's a problem. Trying to make sure that if Riven started red, she can't gank us easily, can't come and murder us. That's a good thing. Saw that there was a ward in that bush. I pinged it. I noted the time for my jungler. Good things there. My withers are kind of useless. I need to watch my mana. I need to make sure that I'm not wasting it, not unable to help out. What's going on here? Where did something go wrong? And here's a good moment for me to pause and think. If I recall correctly from what I watched before, this is where Misfortune managed to take a little bit of damage. So I'm going to slow this down and see what happens. So Misfortune's actually going forward into them, and I'm only now reacting to this. Misfortune just got hit by Draven's E. She's taking an axe to the back. That's no good. and only now do I get the Wither off. And I've realized, by looking at this more slowly, by taking a closer look at how she ended up taking all this damage, that maybe she shouldn't have gone in chasing after Gangplank, but also I was actually in a very bad position. Draven and Gangplank were over here in these creeps. Misfortune was over here, and where was I? I was down here in this bush. I'm doing something that I talked about a few weeks ago in my support show, noting that, you know what, don't rely over much in these bushes. If you sit in these bushes, you can't really support your teammate in certain circumstances, and I was making that mistake. I'm way back here, Misfortune's way up here. What happens when she tries to make something happen? I am nowhere near close enough to help her. It took me way too long to react, to get in range to try to help her, and so as a result, she's taken half her health and damage. That's bad, and that's my mistake. Yeah, she shouldn't have gone in on that, given where I was. But you know what? I still shouldn't have been where I was anyway. That was my fault. At least I am not free of sin. I am slightly to blame. If this were a car accident, I could not exactly easily pin it on Misfortune. Her insurance company would fight that tooth and nail, no problem. So that's obviously the first thing that I missed. That was not good at all. I'm back to speeding this up again. Gangplank is warding as we speak. That's not a problem. A little bit of space for Misfortune. I don't know if I noted this ward to the jungler. Maybe I could have. I certainly didn't ping it. That might have been helpful to the jungler if I had. Misfortune takes another Q to the face. I, however, chase off Draven so he doesn't get any attacks on her. That's fine. She's still got a potion running. She's still okay at the moment. Is that where it happens? No, she's still okay. That wasn't it. But I'm going to slow down, and there we go. There's an E that hits both of us. He gets an attack off her at the same time, and there's another one. I take a Q to the face. The Wither comes out too late, partially due to the displacement effect, and partially just due to my slow reactions. I'm up too far. I take a hit as well. And that's where things went wrong again. Just a little bit of bad positioning, a little bit of bad reaction time, and now we're in a very horrible state. And so I've identified just a couple things that I need to keep in mind in the future, especially if I'm trying to play support Nasus. Wither has a very long range, but that doesn't mean that I can hang back like I'm Soraka, because the person I'm trying to target with that ability isn't Misfortune, who I'm trying to protect, but the enemy, who is trying to hurt her, and they're kind of further away than she is. And I'm just hanging too far back. And at least when she needs the help, I'm not there, I'm too far back. And when she's trying to retreat, I'm running in, and I'm body blocking for her, which is good. But as a result of this sort of disjointed push and pull, we're both taking too much damage, and that's bad. Granted, this is a Gangplank lane, so there's going to be harass. Taking a little bit damage is understandable. But taking as much damage as we've taken, that's not good at all. Not good at all. So let's see how this turns out. Well, it's the 4-minute mark. Draven has been harassing us, and we actually luck out a whole lot here because Draven disconnected. Right there, the moment he started fighting us, he disconnected, the poor, unfortunate soul. And so I didn't notice during the game that we had exactly been in this bad of a spot. Why? Well, Draven died! Nothing terrible happened. Under normal circumstances, a full health carry, some good health from the support. He's taken a little bit of damage. But then, if the jungler had been down here with a lot of health, that was an easy 3v2 turret dive. They could have taken out one of us, no problem. It would have been simple. They just would have had to push to the tower. But instead, Draven accidentally disconnected and got murdered. And so nothing happened. And so, when nothing happens, even though you've made a mistake, it's easy to miss that mistake. So I'm just trying to zone out Gangplank a bit now. No biggie. I didn't notice the mistake in the game. I didn't notice how badly we'd done. But now that you know, that whole event with Draven happened, and now that I've looked at it through the replay, I know what went wrong. I know that things could have been very, very bad for us. So I'm casting Wither on Gangplank, and I've noted, you know what, he can just cleanse that. Maybe I should watch who I Wither. Be a little careful about that. Is anything else interesting going to happen? Well, we just need to keep watching and learning. I know that this game did not go very well for me, and I'm trying to find out why. So I'm just watching very carefully. We're recalling now. Why? Well, the waves pushed up. We've got a first blood, got a lot of extra gold that we want to spend. Now is a great time to go back and to buy. Because if we buy now, you know, we'll have an advantage when the wave pushes back out down the lane. That'll be great for us. That'll be fantastic. And we'll probably, you know, if we tried to push up here, it'd be a little bit dangerous. I could ward here again before we left, and we could have maybe hung out longer. But I would then be out of wards, and it's a great time to go back and buy more wards anyway, to give us vision to prevent us from getting caught and killed. Always want to avoid any of those dumb mistakes, like pushing up too far when the enemy jungler is missing. So we're back in lane now. Gangplank's not here, so I'm trying to be a little bit aggressive, trying to make Draven sweat. Gangplank is back, however, so I take a little bit of damage trying to run away. And now we're fighting, okay? And how is this going? There's an exhaust on Misfortune. She's taken a lot of damage. Exhaust goes down on Draven. Are they going to get her? Yeah, they did. So, that wasn't good. No, can't say that that was good. So when you're watching at full speed, it's a little bit hard to keep track of everything that's going on. But thankfully, this is a replay. We can go back and we can look at things in slow motion and try to figure out how exactly everything went so horrible when we should have had the advantage since we had first blood, extra items, and all of that. Let's examine that a little more carefully. So I'm just going to back up a little bit. Back up a little bit more. Alright, where are we? Right here. Okay, Gangplank's on his way. I'm going to wither the Draven. I'm going to take some damage. So let's slow this down. I'm taking damage. Took a shot from the cannon minion. There's the wither. I'm still booking it away. Booking it away, and Misfortune is coming in to support me. Except she's actually coming in to fight. That's okay, that wasn't my intention, so maybe she shouldn't have gone in. There's the exhaust on her, reducing her ability damage. Draven only has Wither on him, so that E and that first Brutal Axe have done full damage. Gangplank is putting the pressure down on Misfortune. All these purple caster minions and cannon minions are shooting at her. That's no good. I did get the exhaust on Draven, but he's not even in range to attack her right now, so that's not very useful. Not very useful, no. They're chasing her down. It doesn't really look like she's going to get away. No, we all know she does not. She's going to die in just a second here. We don't need to see that in slow motion. I, however, do survive. And I can identify a few problems right here, having looked at it in slow motion. What exactly went wrong there? Well, first, we saw a little bit of different purposes. I was trying to run away. I wasn't really trying to fight. So I used my Wither to run, and I kind of just dropped my Spirit Fire as a, screw you guys, I'm out of here, kind of thing. But Misfortune misinterpreted that, or made her own decision, and decided to go in and fight. And that was bad a little bit, because by the time she got there, Wither had already been gone for a couple of seconds, and I didn't exhaust, and that's a big thing I didn't do. When you've got a character like Draven who has a lot of upfront damage due to his E and due to his axes, exhaust is better than Wither. Wither slows attack speed, and that's awesome, but they're going to get that first attack off. And so if they're exhausted, that attack does less damage. If they're withered, their next attack just comes later. So you kind of really want exhaust first. That's something I think I can conclude from this. Maybe, maybe not. I have not tested this. I have to go out and test it later, but that's something I want to think about. Exhaust first, then Wither, or even if Wither's already been used, exhaust when push comes to shove so that the ability damage goes down. Another thing is just don't get in those awkward positions that are going to bait out my person who I'm supporting, my carry. That's not very useful. Because Misfortune came in, there was a big creep wave on their side, and everybody knows those purple caster minions are freaking overpowered. Nerf them, please, Riot. And they did a number on her, in addition to all the damage she was taking from Draven and Gangplank. That was not very good. That hurt her a lot. Probably that, combined with my lack of exhaust at the right time, probably led to her death. I didn't even have to worry about any of that. I'm like at almost full health. They focused her down well. I just was not a good support. That just didn't work out. I need to play better. I need to be better next time. So, obviously, we have managed to give up a first blood advantage. We had first blood. We should be able to win fights, but when you fight in a giant creep wave, when you fight in a bush where you can't see them very well, when you fight when your support is a derp and doesn't use exhaust when he should, you lose fights pretty easily. So, now Gangplank has wandered off. He's probably gone back to buy or something. I don't know. Or ward. He probably came the long way around back. That's fine. I'm by myself. We don't really need to see me fighting by myself. That's not important. We're going to see a gank come in here. This is a big gank. Let's see. I wither Draven. Gangplank is slowed. Maokai's coming in. Misfortune has not been caught up the whole time. Olaf dies to the tower and uses his flash. That's unfortunate. I'm caught in creeps. There's a big creep wave. Oh god. Okay, I'm dead. Kennon's coming in, and that Gangplank got away. Okay. Well, that happened very fast. Like I've been doing every time so far. Let's go back and look at that in slow motion, because that was just a fiasco, whatever it was. So, let's see. Misfortune's going to come back to lane. Here comes Olaf. We're going to wait for him to stop glitching out in the spectator mode replay and actually come in for this gank. Alright, so Misfortune is only now arriving. Only now arriving. Let's see. There's the axe. Oh, that axe went a little bit too far. If he'd thrown it a little closer, he could have picked it up immediately without having to do this little song and dance. Small mistake on Olaf's part. That's okay. There's the oranges. What should I do right now? Okay. I just withered Draven right after Gangplank used oranges. Gangplank has less health. He is a sure kill at this point. Withering Draven, not the best move. I really should have withered Gangplank, because if we look at this a little carefully, I mean, granted, Olaf does get another slow on him, but I'm even dropping the Spirit Fire where it will affect Draven and not Gangplank. If Gangplank were withered right now, he'd be back here-ish. He would not be where he is. I'm freaking attacking Draven. I could be attacking Gangplank. He'd be at half a bar of health now, and all the way back here in Misfortune's range, he'd be dead. Olaf would not be diving the tower. Olaf would not be realizing that he doesn't have enough health to dive the tower. Olaf would not be using his flash at the last second to just ensure that it wasn't any use. We would not be running into this giant creep wave that is totally destroying us, and I am totally creep blocked, caught, and unable to run anywhere. I would not die to a sapling, and this would not have gone so horribly. So, even though Olaf kind of overthrew an axe, that's small potatoes to the fact that I wasted everything trying to catch a Draven that was not going to die even if we caught him. I got greedy. I went for a double kill that we did not have, and that cost us dearly. Oh my goodness. So, lesson learned there. Secure the kill. Gangplank used his oranges. He was not going to get away from Wither. I didn't even need to use my flash to wither him. I could have just withered him. I could have saved my flash. I could have used that as a tower diving tool. Instead, I died an inglorious death, accomplishing nothing of use whatsoever except to feed gold to a walking tree. You have to be ready to admit these horrible, horrifically bad mistakes if you're going to improve, if you're going to make any use out of your analysis. You have to just look at your terrible plays and think, well, that was derp. That was not proper. That was not optimal. I better not do that again. So I am back in lane, despite the fact that Draven was disconnected, despite the fact that he fed us first blood. He now has a very good lead in this lane, especially because it's a very offense-oriented lane. Gangplank Draven, that's pretty darn scary. It's a very damaging, very threatening combination, even when you've got somebody like Nasus. Misfortune was not prepared to help me kill that ward super fast. Nasus has one of those awesome on-next hit abilities that resets his auto-attack timer, so if you're good, if you've got an attentive lane partner, you can take out the ward. Misfortune was not paying attention. But nothing else big has happened, nothing else too crazy. But, let's see, where were we going? Oh, I see. This wave is pushed up, we're getting zoned a little bit, so we're like, you know, screw that, let's go get golems. This would be a little bit better. you know, if we didn't get zoned. But you know what? Getting golems is a good thing. Gangplank took out our ward at Dragon. That's no fun, but not a whole lot we can do about that when they have a good level advantage over that. You know, they're both a level ahead of each of us. Draven's level 7 to Misfortune 6. Gangplank's level 6 to my level 5. That's kind of an unfortunate position. We know they're doing Dragon. It's the most obvious Dragon in the world. Even though we can't see it, there's no other reason for them to all leave, for Maokai to leave mid. They're doing Dragon. Nothing we can do. Not with Olaf and Kennen back in Fountain. That's not my mistake. That's just them dying over here. No biggie. We're trying to catch up on farm and levels. Hopefully we will before they come back and murder the crap out of us. Just watching the game, trying to see what goes wrong. A little bit of damage down on Gangplank. He's at half health from Dragon. That could be an advantage for us. I've hit level 6. That means I have my ultimate ability now. Maybe we can make something happen. Gangplank gets some damage down on Misfortune. Screw it. I'm going to wither Gangplank. Alright, he just ran away. No big thing happened there. I'm in the bush. I'm a ways ahead of Misfortune now. They dropped the ward. I do some damage on it. Figure they're out of position. We're getting the fight. I'm at half health. Use my ultimate. What's going on? Are we getting this? Are we getting this? Sweet! Gangplank goes down. Draven, is he going to go down? Is he going to go down? There's his ultimate. There's a flat. Sweet! It's awesome. So, sometimes good things happen. Great, we got both of them double killed. Yes, awesome. You still want to go back and analyze what happened. Because even when things go right, maybe you made a mistake, maybe they made a mistake that let you win, maybe there was something you can learn that you can try to do another time. You want to look for those moments just as much as you want to look for the ones where things go horribly wrong. So let's review this moment as well. So we're going to rewind just a little bit. What happened here? Well, if I unpause, this is a little bit... Alright, here we go. They haven't put the ward down yet. So I'm going to wait for when he puts down the ward, because that kind of started everything. So what happened here? Well, if I look at this carefully, I'm way far ahead of Misfortune. And yet, this kind of looks like it might work out, because Misfortune is super duper fast. She's got 430 movement speed, slowed by Gangplank. I actually have 100 less than that. So she's going to catch up really super fast, and because they were both not afraid of me, they were both really close. That let me wither Gangplank no problem. I hit my ultimate in the middle of them. I got exhausted, not Misfortune. That's pretty big. I'm dropping the Spirit Fire, that's reducing their armor. They're taking every hit from Misfortune's ultimate. That is brutal. I get a little bit more damage down on Gangplank. I focused the one target I needed to. Although I used my exhaust on him, I don't think that... You know, looking at it, I really didn't need to exhaust him. He was going to die no matter what. Wasted exhaust. We could have exhausted Draven, and that would have made it a lot easier to catch him. We wouldn't have had the tower dive, or at least I could have had exhaust after this. So that's a mistake I made that didn't cost us anything then. But as anybody who plays knows, lacking a summoner spell can be very, very big. It can really change the course of the game if you're not careful. So I really need to pay a little bit more attention and be a little bit more careful with exhausts when somebody's just about to die anyway. At the very least, we wouldn't have had to take those tower hits, and that would have worked out just a little bit better, maybe. You know, we still got a double kill, and it both went to Misfortune. That's awesome, but it could have been a slightly better one. Just paying a little bit of attention. It also could have gone a heck of a lot worse if Gangplank had exhausted Misfortune. We were very, very fortunate that he did not, that he exhausted me, the support, who doesn't really do all that much damage. Gangplank is cheekily using his ultimate to clear this creep wave and get some more creep score. No, he doesn't get that much of it. It's all good. We'll fast forward to the next part of the laning phase. We don't really need to watch me slowly, in slow motion, walking all the way down back to the lane. That's not terribly interesting. We want to see the action. We want to see the drama. We want to see the excitement. So once again, we're back to Gangplank taking pot shots at Misfortune, getting his gold up with that pickpocket mastery. We're positioning again. There's a ward in this bush. I remember there's a ward in this bush. I'm casting Wither on Gangplank. I'm threatening him, forcing him to use his oranges. Draven just took a lot of damage. That's really good for us. When you get a lot of damage in on the carry, that gives you a big advantage because killing the carry fast, always a good thing. Takes out their damage. dropping the Spirit Fire, taking a lot of damage in return, getting damage onto Gangplank. However, Misfortune took a lot of damage in return. That's not great. Ooh, ow. Double ow. Okay, I'm down to 2 bars of health. Probably didn't want to take that errant tower hit there. I don't think that's too big of a deal, but we do kind of want to back off because our ward coverage has faded. It is not there anymore, although Kennen is coming down and he has kindly warded for us. That's pretty darn awesome. And I'm really hanging around. And why am I hanging around? Well, I've got a lot of health regen, and I also have my ultimate, which gives me a bunch of bonus health. I'm actively trying to bait him, although I did just take 2 bars of health and damage from that axe. Holy crap. And there's... Ooh, I'm going in on this. Is this going to work out? Look at that. Another double kill for Misfortune. I'm trying to recall, and... Okay, Kennen died. That's not good. Is Olaf going to... Whoa, he went down fast. Should get out of here. Should get... Oh, God, Misfortune. Okay, can I save Misfortune? Misfortune trying to run. A good idea. Change directions. Change directions. Okay, that sapling was not very well aimed. There's the Wither, and oh God, why are you running... Why are you running that way? Okay, maybe we can kill Riven, and no, we cannot. Oh God! So, a lot went wrong right there after that double kill. And not all of it's going to be my fault, but as with everything else we've done today, let's look through it and try to see what I did wrong, because I know I did some things wrong. So we're going to rewind just a bit here to get back to the start of this whole mess. Let's see, so there's the... Slow down a bit. So right when Gangplank ulted, I flashed in, used my ultimate, dropped the Spirit Fire, withered a target. I am not afraid, I am fearless. Ignite used on me. I survive, however, thanks to a very well-placed Misfortune ultimate. Kennen, however, flashed into Riven, using his ultimate, but taking a crazy amount of damage. Oh my gosh, does he not... Okay, I guess he's got armor. Why does she do so much damage? Holy crap. Riven is OP. There's her Q. Holy crap, Kennen's in trouble. So Kennen flashing into Riven might have been a little much. I guess he didn't think about how strong... I guess he just didn't anticipate all that damage. Didn't wait for Olaf. That might have helped. Now Olaf is 2v1. We are not there to help him. He possibly should have tried to book it. Maybe he just... Well, I guess he probably didn't expect us to run. Probably didn't expect Kennen to die. I was trying to save him. Holy crap, Maokai does a crap ton of damage. It's not really safe for us to keep fighting. If that Riven ultimate had hit me, I probably would be dead. Holy crap. Probably better idea to run, Misfortune. Probably a better idea to run. She keeps going in. This is her mistake. She really should not have tried to chase Riven. I am now trying to save her. Alright, let's speed things up just a little bit. We don't need to see this in quarter speed. We can go full speed even. Misfortune is wise to change directions and run, but she keeps kind of... I got the Wither down. Run this way. Run this way. Probably should have just run this way. I probably should have just given up on her right now. Maybe I thought that we could try to quickly burst down Riven. That would have been fun and awesome, but there's a ward in that bush, and that means no dice. A support, I don't do enough damage. Okay. So the big takeaway there is that maybe if I'd come out sooner, could have saved or like tried to help a little sooner, maybe? Although my Wither was on cooldown. The big thing though, when Misfortune was caught here, when she didn't run the obvious direction, I should have just left. There was that glimmer of hope that we could kill Riven, but the moment Maokai rooted Misfortune, I should have just given up and ran. Like, there was no way. The moment Maokai was on top of Misfortune that they were going to kill Riven fast enough. No way. Just gotta remember, Riven has that troll shield that she can pull out. It's a very strong shield, especially when she's got a lot of AD. Just gotta be prepared for that. Oh my goodness, that was painful. So we got a double kill. That's really good. But in return, we kind of gave them a bunch of kills for no good reason. Not really an even exchange. Unfortunately, Kennen and Olaf just got absolutely demolished by Riven and Maokai, and I can see why. They both have 5 kills plus assists and farm. Meanwhile, poor Olaf has died 4 times, and Kennen has died 3 times. They are not doing well. That's very unfortunate for them. I'm out here warding, taking a little bit of harass, but I am safe. Well, hopefully nothing else horrible will happen, but I get the feeling, if I remember much about this game, that horrible things are bound to happen. Horrible, horrible, painful things. For those who noticed my cheeky ward placement, if they put a pink ward somewhere like here, you can throw a ward over the wall like so, and that will give you Vision of Dragon. That will let you know when they come to do it. They can't see it if they put the pink ward here. They can only see it if they put the pink ward there, but that also limits their vision. They tend not to do that. So, anyway, enough of that random tidbit. Back to the laning phase. Is anything terribly interesting going to happen here? Well, we're kind of behind. Riven's coming down, so we're just going to back off. You know, make sure that Riven is not able to do anything. Here's something. What's going on? Well, I see that Riven's a dragon. I don't have to worry about her anymore. I'm slowing things down right now. I just want to see what's going on. There's the Gangplank ultimate. Misfortune gets the attack off, gets another attack off. That really hurts to take that in the face. Holy crap, his axes do so much damage. There's the flash from Misfortune. Huh, that kind of worked out. Riven had to back off of Dragon. We got a kill. Not bad. How did that start again? Let me look at this. Okay. We're going. Misfortune's with me. Riven has backed off. Riven is going to Dragon. Misfortune's right behind me. I'm running into them. Misfortune's kind of not with me, but I am being a little fearless. I've got my ultimate. That gives me a bunch more health. I've got Wither on Draven. I do absolutely no damage. Holy crap. I don't do damage. That's so sad. I am so dependent on Misfortune. Maybe if I was maxing Q, I could actually do damage, but... or if I was stealing farm with it. But hey, I've got a whole ton of health and I'm scary with Wither, so that works out pretty well. Wow, the damage on Gangplank's big. So even though Draven's taking a lot of damage from this, that axe just took off like 2.5 bars of her health, and there is a big creep wave here and a Gangplank ultimate. She was very, very wise to flash out of that. That's good. Riven got chased off of Dragon thanks to that engagement. Kind of what I was hoping for. There's the Wither on Draven, and oh my god. So, I was a little too uppity right there. I kind of didn't think that Riven was going to come around that way. And that Draven E, oh my gosh. That just, I got schooled right there. That's unfortunate. Gotta be a little bit careful. When you know the jungler's in the area, Kennen saw that she ran off into here. We didn't know where Maokai was. Being aggressive with that Draven right then, it was kind of a cool thing to do, like if he'd been alone to force him away from the creeps. But when you don't know where the enemy is, when you don't have any vision, kind of need to be more careful than I was. Kind of need to be more careful because if I go back, I'd show you guys this. I go back and look at this again. See, you know, I'm feeling really good. There's Draven. I'm gonna go for him. Look at this. He wants creeps. He's not gonna get creeps. I'm going in here, coming in. I'm a big dog, casting the Wither on him, and there it is, right there. This is the moment that I could see her. Do I have any chance to react to this whatsoever? I do not. I'm in the middle of a cast. Before I can even react, I've been knocked in her direction, and she has flash stunned me, gotten an auto attack off. I'm ignited, and I'm just... no. 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 Vision is a fun thing. If you can hide out of someone's vision and yet be so close like that, it's just the worst thing that can happen to anybody. Just all of a sudden, a wild Riven appears, and you die. So that's how you look at a replay, slowly, just trying to find mistakes when you're not sure how a game went very poorly. That game, if you could tell by the gigantic gold gap between us, went very poorly indeed. That was not the best game to ever grace the world. So, before we get to my customary question and answer session, I'm going to take a very quick look at a different method. When you want to look at a replay and you have some specific points in mind, where like, I remember this one team fight that happened, or I remember this one moment that was really, really good or really, really bad. When you remember when that happened, you can, if that's all you want to consider, if that's all you want to analyze, you can just zip right to it and try to figure it out. And if you need to work backwards from there, you can work backwards. But sometimes you just want some quick analysis between a couple of games where you're like, I just want to see what went wrong, I want to know what went right, that sort of thing. And so let's look at yet another replay. So here we have another replay. This time I'm on purple team, and who am I playing? I'm playing Jungle Thresh. But rather than watch me just play a bunch of Thresh and jungle and kill creeps easily, because that's just boring, we're instead going to skip way ahead to something that happens 5 minutes into the game. About 5 minutes. If we can see, I'm here in a bush, and the reason I want to examine this is because I want to figure out how useful this was. So I don't have vision of Katarina, but I was trying to possibly gank for this Nidalee at this point, and nothing really came of it, and I want to see why. And I can kind of see, looking at this paused right now, that Nidalee doesn't really have any health or mana. That's not all that good. I can't actually even see where Katarina is. So she's probably gone back, and I'm just running back and forth in the bush. Well, there she is finally. Alright, but can I get anything to happen here? Well, Nidalee is low on health. I missed the hook. Alright, that wasn't very useful at all. And I take some damage. And the funny thing is, as I look at it now, what's going on elsewhere on the map in my vision? Well, Singed just pushed up, and he has a ward. But he's kind of in a position where a gank is likely to happen. And maybe it would have been more useful for me to be clearing these camps, and maybe I could just be in a better position to help him, because they're perfectly safe, and Nidalee will probably go back or be safe. And lo and behold, here's Jarvan coming to gank Singed, and I am being a good jungler. I'm trying to rush there as fast as possible. Singed dodged the knock-up, but it's not really enough. He's getting stunned. My shield is not strong enough to save him. I missed both of my skill shots. That's not good. So we can kind of see that because I was derping around down here for a gank that really wasn't going to accomplish a whole lot, I could have been at raids, I could have finished clearing them and been on my way to golems when Jarvan appeared on the minimap. I would have been much closer to Singed. Maybe I could have saved him, and maybe if I'd been thinking about the fact that it was Singed and that he would try to flip somebody, I could have been in a better position to flip them closer to the turret and then hook them thereafter. That would have possibly been better. I did not play this moment well. That would have been a heck of a lot better. So what were some other moments I was thinking about? Well, there was one over here at 1240. There's sort of a gank that's going to happen in here. There goes Leona. She's going for it. Jarvan appears. I get a hook. Unfortunately, Jarvan, there is the box. How is this going? Well, Leona's died, but so has Jarvan. Okay, Tristana's doing okay. Sweet, got the kill on Gangplank, beating the crap out of Varus. He even blew his cleanse for no reason, and oh god, there's the Katarina. Am I gonna live? Am I gonna live? No. I want to look at that again. Back up, down. So we didn't see that Jarvan was there. That's one big thing. He was kind of invisible. Let the vision fade, let everything get into position again. Yeah, that's right, we cannot see that Jarvan is there. Gangplank is actually very... Oh, wow, Jarvan's right there. Gangplank very clearly baiting for this Jarvan. Very clearly baiting, but they don't know that I'm there either. Slow this down. I'm ghosting in. I want to get that Gangplank. Could I have landed the hook on Gangplank? No, no way. Jarvan was in the way. Couldn't do anything about that. Was it good to pull him into the team? Well, not the worst thing. He is caught by the box. Oh, I did not want to push him that way with that. Okay, there's a mistake. I really wanted to pull him towards us. We've got the Varus ultimate affecting all of us. Leona's trying to get out of there. Down goes the Cataclysm. We're kind of stuck anyway because we're both rooted. I'm getting some auto attacks off. That's good. Can we see Katarina at this point? Yes, we can. There she is coming past the ward. Can I see that? No, I'm paying too much attention to Gangplank. Are we going to... Well, I am going to get Gangplank, but let's speed this up a bit. We know what happens. I kill Gangplank. Tristana gets away. Varus is like, can I fight him? No way. He's beating the crap out of me. I get the slow on him. I'm getting the kill. You know what? Why is Katarina there? She's trying to cut off Tristana. If I had just run this way, I probably could have got away. She might have tried to come this way and cut me off, but I probably had a much, much better chance of surviving if I hadn't run towards her. Granted, I got some really big crowd control effects off on her, but it ultimately ended in my death. She manages to flash away and then Shunpo away. That's no fun for me. Kind of wanted her to die. Does Nidalee land the spear? No, that spear was heading off somewhere completely different. Somewhere in here, Harvey, the invisible giant rabbit, if you know your Jimmy Stewart movies, was there to catch it for her. But not Katarina. Okay, she's not going to die. Not going to kick the bucket. Were there any other Well, that kind of sucked for me, but I figured out, you know what? I could have run this way. That would have at least been more productive. Because she would have had to run into Nidalee to try to cut me off. That would have been helpful to have tried to go in a different direction. I probably didn't see her in time. My mistake. Well, I think that's all I really need to look at with that replay. And that is the show for tonight. I hope that was a little helpful, trying to show you how to go about doing your analysis, trying to show you just a few things you can do, a way to think about it. But really, all you need to do is just go out there and analyze. Do your analysis thing. You may not be able to find an answer sometimes. You may be like, well, I have no idea why this went wrong. And that's when you go out there and you look for help. If you don't have any friends who are better than you, go to some great forum like Team Liquid and be like, hey, there's a League of Legends subforum here. I can go and ask questions, or even go to the official forums. You might not get as much useful out of them as you would at a smaller, tight-knit community, but go out there and don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Can somebody help me? That is how you go about doing analysis. That's how you go about learning and improving. So it's 8:57 Central Time. We've got some time if anybody has any questions. While people are thinking of questions to ask, I'm just going to go ahead and remind you that I do this show every week, every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. West Coast. If you happen to live in the Central Time zones, that can be anywhere between those two times. 7 or 8, depending. You can follow me here on Twitch TV to come see my show every week. You can send me Twitter messages and ask me questions. You can add me in-game. I'll be happy to try and help you. You can send me email at Montegomerylol. All that information is right here. It's Montegomerylol for everything. It's very, very hard to remember, I know. Totally difficult. Totally impossible. How could you ever remember any of these things? Maybe you can't remember it very well because it's hard to remember that I'm a derp and spell Montgomery with an E. That's kind of weird. There's a totally logical explanation for that, which I will never give you. So that's the show for tonight. Thank you all very much for watching. I don't know if maybe my chat is broken, but I haven't seen anybody say anything except Miscue talking about a ward. I don't know. I think my chat's fine. Is my chat fine? I can talk. Yep, I can talk in chat. I don't see any issues. But again, thank you all for watching. I'll be here next week. I don't know what I'll be talking about. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully before too long we'll have replays. I'm excited about those. And I will see you on Summoner's Rift. Good night and good luck.